Number plates abound on the luxury vehicles of Palm Springs. One of the other vital occupations in the area is medicine, and surgeons make a great deal of money rearranging their wealthy patients.
What's the most bizarre request you've ever had to do?
There is a very popular thing in America to augment, enlarge things, and one of the very bizarre requests was to enlarge the scrotal area, and we were able to satisfy our patient.
What about ladies? I mean, do you have a lot of ladies coming to have other parts of the anatomy enlarged?
Yeah, the body and thighs, and in general, mostly, most common operation is a breast augmentation.
Were you already very successful, or did coming to Palm Springs help you in that?
I was successful in my own way, but Palm Springs really boosted.
So it really is an area of wealthy people and can help somebody's career to arrive here.
That's correct.
How much did the house cost when you built it?
Well, we'd like to skip the number if it's possible.
Okay, thank you. We've heard that the house perched on the exclusive crags above the city, right next to Bob Hope's small air terminal of a home, which we weren't allowed to film, is on the market for $10 million. Cheap at the price when you get a garden on your roof, which is not only decorative but keeps you cool as well, a swimming pool half in and half out of your sitting room, sliding electronic glass wall windows, and priceless objets d'art dotted around. Actually, whilst it is wonderfully impressive to visit, it's not exactly cozy. Well, you can't have everything for $10 million.
The speaker today is Dr. Borko Djordjevic, a plastic and reconstructive surgeon whose office is on North Palm Canyon Drive in Palm Springs. Dr. Djordjevic specializes in general plastic, aesthetic, and reconstructive surgery, including facelifts, chemical peels, breast augmentation and reduction, leg, hip, and abdominal reduction and reshaping, liposuction, and laser resurfacing. He is a diplomat of the American Board of Cosmetic Surgery and has been practicing in the desert for over 25 years. Welcome to our show, Dr. Djordjevic.
Thank you.
Now, in our last show, you promised to bring us some before and after of your procedures over the years here in the Valley. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I just brought a set of slides which I think would be interesting to the public. Some of them cannot be shown because of the explicitity.
The breast
augmentation and tummy tucks and things like that. But basically, the core of the plastic surgery, we can show it.
Well, let's get right to the slides. What's our first slide today?
Our first slide is a woman fairly young, 55, and she basically desired to have a facelift, which we had done. We also did upper and lower blepharoplasty, and you can see she looks pretty rejuvenated.
She looks beautiful.
And in essence, she is now, you know, much younger looking. This is an older lady who has been sort of ravaged by the sun. She had a full facelift, upper lower lids, and neck lift.
Did she have laser also?
She had a chemical peel.
A chemical peel.
Chemical peel. It is a procedure of choice after the sunburn.
How about this one?
This patient is, as you can see, tremendous damage skinned by the sun. Southern California had quite a bit of wrinkles. She went on and had a full facelift, upper and lower lids, forehead lift. We had to lift her forehead and did a chemical peel at the same time.
She doesn't even look like the same woman.
She certainly doesn't. And this is the front view of the same patient.
She's beautiful.
You can see the difference in expression, and the signs of her aging are practically gone.
Not to mention she looks happier.
She sure does.
I see the neck there as well, you did.
Neck is always a part of the facelift.
I see.
Here's a patient who has had also sort of a tired-looking face. She has been done by somebody else before, and we did a small lift and did a chemical peel. Some of the areas behind on the side of the ear and where the scars were from previous surgery were used erbium laser. We do use a laser when we like to take a very light superficial damaged skin, particularly around the eyes.
Is this the front view of her?
That's the front view of the same patient.
I see. She's got quite a few lines around her lips and
Well, we had to go deeper there, and that's what it is. Here's a procedure called rhinoplasty. A young girl had a sort of a longer nose and was very conscious of herself, and we have here employed a straightforward cosmetic rhinoplasty without bothering with the septum. She didn't have any problem breathing.
it looks like such a natural nose.
And has a nice natural fold, matches her lips. He's a gentleman who basically had a tremendous growth of a cartilage of dorsal nose. He had to wear a beard and mustache after rhinoplasty. He shaved everything off, and he was very acceptable to himself and the community.
That's an amazing change.
Yes. He did have some mild breathing. A young lady who did not have much of a, in ordinary circumstances, problem with her shape of her nose, just wanted to have more refined, which we did. It was a tip rhinoplasty with cartilage graft and given us some projection and softened her tip a little bit.
Now you don't need a whole lot done. Sometimes it just takes a little bit, correct?
Yes. Gentleman who had basically all his life had signs of a underdeveloped lower chin. We touched up his nose and put a chin implant through the mouth without visible scars, and his shape, particularly from the profile, has been more attractive.
Certainly makes a difference.
Another patient with the same problem. This is an elderly lady who has waited to retire, had a quite sizable nose, practically no chin. We had to liposuck her neck. You can see she's still bruised. It's a fresh surgery. We did correct her nose and put a fresh chin implant.
What a difference in that chin.
And that is, she's very happy. This is an elderly gentleman who basically reached the point of retirement, could not drive because a tremendous upper lids drooping following a upper blepharoplasty, and as well as the lower blepharoplasty. His peripheral vision has improved quite a bit.
Now,
This is much better seen if we get to the next slide, showing his side view,
oh, there we
what
go.
you can see here. And the patient is obviously smiling and much happier.
Yeah, much happier. I can see where the skin going over the eye would make a major difference in your eyesight.
Well, that's a common problem. Side view, you cannot see peripherally as you drive. You have to turn your head and bound to make an effect. Now here we have some other procedures such as liposuction, very commonly done today, much more often today than 5 years ago. A young lady had a pot belly, signs of extra fat, entering through a small incision. We liposuck the whole fat. You can see the difference between before and after. Same thing can be done in the thighs, hips area, as well in the calf. And this patient practically suffered sort of elephant legs, she called herself, saying she had elephant legs. But this is a way we can reshape the ankles and the calf area.
Beautiful.
Seeing from the front view the same patient, and as you can see, she stopped going to sun and developed it was my advice not to go to sun, which I always tell the patients, stay out of the sun so you don't have a skin problem later on.
We're hard-pressed to stay out of the sun here in the desert. We love the sun.
But the sun protection and things similar to that would be very helpful.
Now, can you tell us about some of the downtime? Say, for example, if we came in for a facelift, and I noticed a little bruising on the lady, you said that was a fresh...
Well, the entire procedures, most of the procedures you've done gently and properly in a good environment, your recovery is between 10 and 12, 15 days maximal. We do combine the procedure these days. We use say, breast augmentation with a facelift. We can do a tummy tuck with a facelift. So since the anesthesia has been improved, our timing and our tolerance of the surgery is much more easier to do, and therefore patients have shorter time of recovery.
Now, I know you have a lot of before and after pictures of the breast augmentations and the breast reductions, as well as the tummy tucks and such. You have those in your office, and if anyone wants to come and call you and see those, that you'd be more than happy to show them, even though we couldn't show them on TV.
Absolutely. Well, that is part of the thing. My recommendation in choosing a plastic surgeon, sort of stick with the common sense. Credentials are important, but the bottom line is you have to see surgeons work, particularly some friends that you know before and after, it becomes a very safe guidance to go to see a doctor. I am very open with my patients and give them detailed information regarding the surgery.
Right, and I know that you'd tell them if they probably didn't need it were looking for the wrong reasons, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that's the whole big interview problem. Once you get to the point of interview, do weed out unnecessary surgery, because if a patient wants to have a surgery for wrong reasons, and becomes a problem to herself and to the doctor.
I see. Well, if anyone has any questions, we'll be putting up information to get a hold of you during regular business hours, and we're out of time. I'm always amazed at your work, Borko. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Smart Talk, the weekly show that explores new ground in the fields of medicine, law, and finance.
Welcome to the Coachella Valley edition of Smart Talk. I'm your host, Joyce Bailey.
I'm your co-host, David Hart.
Our first guest speaker today is Dr. Borko Djordjevic, a plastic and reconstructive surgeon who has his office on North Palm Canyon in Palm Springs. Dr. Djordjevic specializes in general plastic, aesthetic, and reconstructive surgery, including facelifts, chemical peels, breast augmentation and reduction, leg, hip, and abdominal reduction and reshaping, liposuction, and laser resurfacing. He received his medical degree from the University of Belgrade School of Medicine in Belgrade, Yugoslavia, and then came to the United States, where he went on to Mountainside Hospital in New Jersey and the University of Pennsylvania, where he practiced general surgeries. His special interest, plastic surgery, led him to the Riverside Methodist Hospital, affiliate of Ohio State University. There, he finished his residency at the American Board of Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery. He is a diplomat of the American Board of Cosmetic Surgery and a member of the American Academy of Cosmetic Surgery. He is also a PhD professor, plastic and reconstructive surgery at the University of Belgrade. He is also a member of the American Society of Liposuction Surgery. In his 29 years of experience, his list of clients, some of the most beautiful women in the world, include the Gabor family. Welcome to our show, Dr. Djordjevic.
Thank you.
Dr. Djordjevic, making and keeping women beautiful is only a portion of what you do on a daily basis. Can you tell us what motivates you and what happened to you when you went on vacation in 1990?
When I went to vacation in 1990, Yugoslavia fell apart. There was ethnic war started among the ethnic
That was a
major war, which caused a lot of casualties, destruction, physical and human. And in fact, I became a regular surgeon, doctor, reconstructive surgeon at that point, trying to take care of human lives.
You were in charge of the triage, which is, can
Well,
you explain that, what the triage is?
There was such a dirty war that there was a lot of casualties, in particular children and women, that by not having a facility where you can take care of the patient locally because of destruction of the hospitals, we had to bring the patients out and send out for, say, specialty therapy if a person loses eye, things like that. So I was right in the field there, setting up and directing which way the patient should be operated on.
That is incredible. I can't believe that all of this just happened when you took a vacation from Palm Springs, from your practice.
I didn't expect it myself, and it was a major surprise to me, but the
Wow.
choices have little. These were my people I wanted to help.
You bet, that's your homeland.
And I had a chance something to do that had nothing to do with a plastic, cosmetic surgery per se.
That kind of training is money cannot buy. I mean, to combat wounds and doing that type of surgery. I know you work with a lot of women and children in repairing limbs that have been blown off or...
Well, there was a physical trauma, mind injury, very common. Young children losing the limbs, it was a very big problem, and a lot of burn victims. So that was a huge volume of a patient that had to be moved out of the site. Eventually that we accomplished.
Wonderful.
The second part that you know, the war was full blown, and I was thinking, what can I do to help more besides what I did as a doctor?
What happened, and how were you motivated? I know you're not at that time you were not really politically inclined, I don't believe, but somehow you single-handedly put together something with President Carter.
That's
And
correct. In my practice in Palm Springs, I was exposed to 2-3 presidents of the United States, and in my practice to some senators. And my thought was, if I can bring the United States into this and try to curtail this fight,
Right.
that would the best thing. Who best than President Carter and his center, which through Senator Feinstein, I was able to get to President Carter's home in Georgia, and I talked him into to come over there in the middle of a blooming war, the way it was in Sarajevo, and that was something that I will never forget.
You actually did bring about a ceasefire, you and President Carter, did you
Well,
not?
we had a 3 days intensive talks between different parties, the Muslims, the Serbs, the Croats, and Carter, being a master of his dialogue and negotiation, was able to create a ceasefire in January 1995. And that was the beginning of our United States, which later brought the Dayton Accord, and of course eventually we have now this permanent peace.
Of course, no, that was a wonderful achievement in your life to do that. Not to mention the sacrifice, Doctor, that you made in literally giving up your practice here in the Coachella Valley.
Well,
to do all of this.
The only thing I had left, I had to close my office, I had to let my girl go, and the only thing I left my phone number here, and of course that was ringing off the hook. Most of the people really didn't know where I was. They thought I was gone or whatever.
Yeah.
So eventually, when I came back for Christmas, I have found a list of patients that were looking for me, wanted me to know what I'm doing, where I am. Am I going to be able to start doing surgery?
Not only you're back, but you're back with a lot more experience from that horrible conflict, war.
Well, at the time, the things just developed as my knowledge was superior and had quite a bit, practice that I had.
Right.
It was very applicable to the situation, and I was ending up leading some of my colleagues, my local friends, into a major reorganization of the plastic surgery. That's how I became a professor there and started to teach later on. But in essence, that was a very, very important experience in my life.
No question. No. What was it like? I understood that you actually flew on Air Force One.
I was involved in bringing President Carter and trying to organize it, because it had to be sort of a non-public event in the beginning. And so we had to maneuver to get to Frankfurt, and from Frankfurt I went via Czechoslovakia, came to Yugoslavia. President Carter went through Zagreb and got in there.
Wow.
So we were able to take by surprise a lot of people. Even though President Carter at his home called President Clinton and asked him, explained to him what he plans to do. President Clinton did not, condone the event. He was just saying, it's whatever you decide,
Yeah,
it's
because
okay.
he was acting as a private citizen.
As a
in
private
America.
citizen, will back you up.
Right.
And that was the whole idea. But at that period of time, I was exposed to NATO bombardment for about 1 week, and I probably could have gotten killed there, but it was something I didn't think at that time. It was such a busy time
You bet.
and medically consuming that I
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm awfully glad that you're back, and I know that there are a lot of people in the Coachella Valley and
Thank you.
That we'll look forward to that, and I look forward to having you on another show. What are we going to be talking on the next show, Joyce?
On our next show, we're going to be talking about the latest techniques in plastic and reconstructive surgery and the newest in lasers.
Great. I look forward to that, Doctor. Thank you so much for
My
coming on
pleasure.
the show.
Thank you for being on the
Thank
show.
you.
The celebrity hideaway of Palm Springs is home to Dr. Borko Djordjevic, the secret weapon of a family whose enduring good looks are legendary. The mother of glamorous sisters Jaja and Eva Gabor was Jolie. She'd already had 2 facelifts when she came to see Dr. Djordjevic about a third one at the age of 80.
Jolie had obviously signs of previous surgery. And we have a major problem here on the side of the face, which is like a string, which is leftover pull from a previous facelift with the indentation here and fine wrinkles around her eyes, forehead, and around the mouth. She was very much in the favor of having the surgery done, and on the way into the operating room, she stopped everybody before I take a surgery. Darling, please, do not stop. If something happens to me and I die, I want you to finish the surgery. Please finish me, so if they bury me, I want to look pretty and beautiful. This was the extreme way she felt about it, being beautiful. Her daughters as well. They were always conscious of their appearance and their looks, no matter what.
4 weeks after the surgery, Jolie revealed her new face at a party.
The very next day, my phone was ringing off the hook. There were all these women that wanted to come to see me.
Also impressed with the doctor's work were Jolie's daughters. Like her sister Jaja, Eva had had a successful career as a film and television actress. But she was now in her 60s. She'd already had 1 facelift. The success of her mother's operation prompted her to get another.
Her face was done sort of a plastic. Her eyes were sort of a sad looking. She was not looking old, but she looked plastic.
Seen for the first time, these pictures show 63-year-old Eva Gabor before and after her second facelift.
What's striking about this is a young face with the prominent cheekbones, beautiful eyes. Hard to tell that she's not looking 40 in this age. She appeared much fresher. Her face was flawless, practically. Even without a makeup, practically, she was looking very, very natural. And in turn, brought her age so far back that she became very much object of a demand for movies.
But Eva would keep the doctor's contribution to her extended career a secret.
So at that time, I know for a fact she didn't want to admit that she had anything done, which is a common thing among the movie stars. They don't want to admit they have been operated upon.
Look at you. You look absolutely wonderful. You look just as you used to look on Green Acres.
Thank you. Well, God knows I try. I do my best.
But you're not allowed to grow older in America, are you?
Not really, but not even in England. If you're in show business, you have to be always beautiful. And that is rather a bore, isn't it?
It doesn't get any harder as you get older, does it?
Of course not, because beauty comes from within anyway.
Does it?
Of course it does.
Why
Don't give me that Irish charm.
Why?
Don't do that to
Why
me.
do you do...
What are the secrets of you defying the world's aging process? You've defied it completely.
Darling, there is no such thing. If you don't sit down and you don't worry about it, you haven't got time to get old.
And his name was Borko Djordjevic. Tell us kind of what happened with you and him and finding the skincare line.
Well, I had heard, a friend of mine had suggested when I started to talk about getting geared up, I'm 51 years old, I was going on tour, and I wanted to look great, and I was considering perhaps plastic surgery, and a friend of mine suggested this doctor. And I was very, very concerned about it. And I went in and spoke to him because she told me that he had developed this line, the skincare line, that in many cases his clients ended up not getting a facelift, that the skincare line and the firm and lift was enough to put off surgery. Well, I was so relieved. I went to speak with him. He knew exactly what he was talking about. He's brilliant. He's also done a lot of most of the Hollywood faces. I can't say a lot of who, but
Yeah,
I know
really.
the Gabors, et cetera. But I am very pleased to be 51 years old. It's the best time of my life, and I want to look great. I'm a grandmother, and I know that a lot of you are grandmothers too, or about to be, and it's just fabulous, especially when you run around with your grandkids and people think they're your kids.
Well, and there's also, because when you told me you were a grandmother, I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. And you know, if you have had plastic surgery, and I know a lot of people in my family have had plastic surgery, and if you've had plastic surgery and you want to maintain that facelift,
Yeah, there's nothing
go
wrong
for
with
it and
it.
get this.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, you know, when I get to where I say, oh my gosh, I think I need a facelift, if I was guaranteed that it would work and it would be perfect, then I'd probably go for it. But I'm afraid to take those chances too. For some people it's worked, for some people it
That's
hasn't.
right, and it's very expensive, but the fact of the matter is that decision will be put off indefinitely, as far as I can see so far,
because
I'm using this line. And if I do down the line, okay, but it's going to be a lot of years from now.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, let's, Jennifer, see what Dr. Georgievic has to say about this line that he came up with, because obviously this is from the expert who invented it. Here you go.
Vitamins are very important because they are part of the metabolism of the collagen, formation of the collagen, and elastin, which are the two basic proteins in a skin. A skin is one of the largest organs we have, has multiple functions, one of which is a excretion of the toxins. And most of the toxins that we have, they need to be neutralized, and therefore application of antioxidants in the cream and vitamins become very important.
Just want you all to know that the doctor is actually 150 years old and he's been using the product for 1 week, and look at him.
Boy, it is magic in a bottle, isn't it? That's funny. And you know, even when you start looking at all the charts, and we will show those again before we get to the end of the program, but you will see the clinical studies.
These are all real figures.
Yeah, the difference that it's made in like skin thickness, reduced facial lines, just the tightening and the firmness in the skin.
Yeah, that's right.
But all of these products work synergistically together, and that's what Jennifer talks about.
And it's simple. It takes maybe as much time as it takes to wash your face and put on a cream.
Good.
That's it.
Good.
And it's not complex. It's for everybody, for men, women, for all types of skin. And there's the deep cleansing if you've got more oily skin, and you decide that. But you know what? The proof is in the mirror. Just put it on. 60 seconds later, you're going to see the difference.
Yeah, you will see the glow. I mean, you will
see the glow. You will feel it. You will, and people will notice it right away. It's so exciting to have instant response to something that you can do for yourself that works.
Let's see the before and after pictures, Jennifer. How about that? Because this
That's
really
right.
does say it. In a matter of, we give you 4 weeks, guaranteed, or your money back. You're going to see a difference in 2 weeks.
Look at the difference in the lines.
That
around
is
the
amazing.
Eyes. It is. You should have seen me this morning.
And then
before I
boy,
put my
that activator on, boom.
And I
That's
mean, look
amazing.
at that. I know.
The skin
and you
is
see,
flat.
and it's even the darkness under her eyes is dissipated, has dissipated with the use.
And then right there, you'll notice how it is a little bit relaxed, but then boom, it's automatically
That's
tightened.
right. That's right.
It takes
But it
5
looks
to 10
natural.
years off.
It looks natural. That pulled look, and some
Right.
of these short-term lifts are scary looking.
Yeah, because they say when you wash your face, does it fall back down?
Well, if it falls down, and it gets really depressing.
But with this, that's not going to happen, because when you wash your face,
once you're uplifted, you stay that
Good.
way, and you nourish on a daily basis.
Okay.
That's why it's twofold the way it works. Instantaneous, within 60 seconds, and then nourishing, replenishing, and replacing the cells, and getting rid of all the toxins in your skin, feeding your skin, and renewing your skin.
So it's cumulative.
The longer you use it, you can start at any age. I'm giving this to my daughter. I'm giving it to my mom, who's 76, and my daughter's 32, and it is one-stop shopping. You have to go no place else. I don't care what kind of makeup you have.